Ralph Havens here, Miracles, Magic, and Coffee. Sorry for a bit of a late start, and I kind of totally spaced and just now sent Dr. Tom Gimateo his link. So hopefully he is on. I was in a class with him all weekend long, so I think we're on with him, but we will see if he's on. Otherwise, I've got a really cool show for us today that I think is. And I kind of totally spaced and let me turn this down. Just now sent Dr. Tom Gimateo his. There we go. So I'm going to put this in our page, Miracles, Magic, and Coffee page. I'll give you the link for that in a second, so that you can be on this list every time you want. We do a weekly show, and we actually have a few weekly shows throughout the week. So so look for that. Let me just get this all set up. Sorry for a little bit of extra paperwork or housekeeping stuff to start with, but let's get this going, because I've got a good one for us today. And like I said, I think it's really important. There's so much grief and sadness and despair right now. And so I want to do this for us. Let's see. Let's do this. Miracles, Magic, and Coffee. Letting go of grief, sadness, and despair. The lungs. Yeah, so I'm going to show you something really cool today, and I hope Dr. Tom can be on in a second to show us something cool. So let's just do this all across the board, share it everywhere, and please share this with anybody that could use help. If you know somebody that's dealing with a lot of sadness or grief or despair, let them know, because I'm going to show you some techniques and do some stuff for us here in just a second. So let's go. Letting go, sadness, grief, despair, the lungs. Okay, I think we're good. We'll see how that goes. I think we're good across the board. Just put this here. Yeah, we are good to go. So yeah, so the link, if you want to join us every week, let's see. Let me go find a better link. I'll give you this link just so you can get to all of our stuff. ralphhavens.com/true healing. And at the end, I've got a very special gift for you. So hang out for just a little bit, and I will put that also in the description later. So we'll see if Dr. Tom shows up. Sorry about getting that late reply to him or late message. He might not be on, but I've got something that I want to show you. So, you know, I was in a class this weekend, and it was awesome doing a lot of integrated manual therapy to learn how to help people with their healing. And there was stuff for the joints, and there was stuff for rashes, and there was stuff for all sorts of conditions around the virus and that sort of thing. And one thing that was talked about and that we learned was some more stuff to do for the lungs. And the lungs are a really cool organ, really cool organ. You know, I had a friend who used to do heart-lung transplants at a hospital in San Diego, a big trauma hospital. And she was literally part of the team that would run out to the helicopter and pick up the organs and then come back and help put them in a new person that needed heart and lungs. And she was telling me one time about a guy. He had a motorcycle accident, and then so his lungs had been harvested, his lungs and his heart. And there was a guy that was waiting at the hospital in San Diego for a transplant. So it was late at night, and they were doing this, and what an amazing thing, huh? To take the heart and lungs out of somebody and then put them in somebody else. But it was giving life back to this guy. And she said, you know, the guy that had passed away was a motorcycle accident victim and a young guy. And she said his lungs, when they took them out, she said it was the most beautiful thing she's ever seen. And they were white and billowy and just beautiful. And, you know, they were being kept alive. and so they were alive. She could actually see these lungs, and then they put them in this person that needed new heart and lungs, and that was her evening. Is that amazing? And but the thing that struck me was she just went on and on about how beautiful it was to see these lungs, the breath of life, you know. And so I'm going to show you some things that are really simple to connect up with this, because in Chinese medicine, in Qigong, the lungs are about letting go of sadness and grief and despair. And then the other side of that is joy. So, you know, you let go of the grief and the sadness and despair, and the joy of life comes in. And right now we really could use this, because there's, I've seen different reports. I saw a report that said that suicide among children and adolescents, in some cities, they were saying 50% increase in the suicides. One said 100% increase. I just went to the CDC site, and Redfield, the CDC director, I don't know if he's still the CDC director, but he was saying suicide is the second leading cause of death among people 10 to 34 years of age. And suicide took the lives of nearly 15,000 people in that age bracket in 2018. And they're saying that in the last decade, suicide rates for kids aged 10 to 14. I mean, can you imagine that it gets so bad that a child aged 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 decides to end their life? But suicide in the last decade among these teenagers is increased by 76% in the last 10 years. And now in the last year with the lockdown, I know of 5 people that committed suicide. And we're just like one person removed from each of these people. One was even more horrific than that, because there were some other people that were involved. Just really, really, really sad. And, you know, we do these things to protect people like the elderly, and oh, there's Dr. Tom. So I just want to do a thing. Let me just say, Tom, sorry, I sent that very late, and you found us.
Yep. How are you?
Oh, good, good. I was talking about, you know, I'm open for anything today, but one thing that struck me was during the class, I was telling about how we were in class this weekend and learning from you, doing all sorts of cool stuff for many things, including the lungs. And you talked about the meridians and doing different ways to breathe. And you've also talked in the past about how lung detox, you know, the exchange of air in and out is like up to 70% of our detox can happen out of the lungs. And Jen is reading a book that our friends just got her for her birthday called, I think it's called Breathe. And it's a guy that went and studied all the ancient stuff. You know, I guess in the Tao, there's like 3 big books written on breathing and the yoga breathing and
Yep.
Box breathing and all sorts of things. And then we have these mudras where you touch like this, like this.
Yep.
Keep in touch, we'll see you soon.
I'm kind of curious of like top point under the collarbone, but we breathe really deep in that with that point and that mudra, and then all the way out. And so I thought, you know, Jen's reading that book, Breathe. And so last night I went through about 10 minutes of just really deep breathing with the Qigong. And man, tears started coming out of my eyes. I didn't feel sad, but tears came out. This morning I was literally coughing up a lung, like just all this junk was coming out. Even some blood came out. And so I'm kind of curious, you know, I think that could be a kind of cool thing to get people, because right now with I was reading through the CDC stats, and Redfield, I don't think he's the director now, but the CDC director said that in the last decade, suicide among kids is up 76%.
Right.
That's an incredible stat. And during this lockdown, I've seen reports from some communities, some cities that are saying 50% increase in suicide among children. And I personally know 5 people, one person removed, that committed suicide this last year.
Wow.
One of them was a double homicide. She killed her 2 kids and then killed herself. And I don't remember any time in my life where I've been that close to that in such a big way. And so when we look at the lockdown and everything that's happened, and you know, we're trying to protect the elderly, there's a lot of collateral damage. And so I just wanted to like talk about like what can we do in a positive way for ourselves to let go of this grief and sadness? Because my friend was on the city council meeting this last week, and she was watching our other friend talk, and our other friend wasn't talking really aggressively about anything, but some of the other people were just like going off about the city council about how they're not protecting the homeless and the homeless population in Bellingham, and that everybody's racist, and they were using the F word, and they were just going off. And I think there's so much grief and sadness, and it can show up as rage and all sorts of stuff. So I'm just like, you've got so many tools, and I'm just, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the lungs, on grief, on letting go of that stuff, of connecting to joy, something positive.
Well, a social media elimination diet would be very good.
I'm so
Even though we are talking on Facebook or today or whatever we're talking.
We're on YouTube and Facebook, but yeah, but so besides listening to me and Tom, social media diet, elimination diet would be good.
And we talked about the radiation off the cell phones and the laptops, and makes a lot of paranoia.
Wow. That technique you had us do in class was big. My eyes got very soft. I mean, my eyes are literally very soft.
And we can pull that up in a minute, and we can give that as a homework piece where people can write down the sequence of holding your eyes to these different areas, and that would be something joyous for people to do.
Wow, that's wonderful. Wow, an IMT, a secret IMT technique. That'd be cool.
I'm just looking for the mudras here for a second.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put my thing here where you can share your screen if you want. Let me see how I do this.
I'm on my phone, so I'm not really on my laptop today.
Okay, well that's okay. I'll we can share stuff later if we want, but they can also just play the video over and over again and get the mudras.
Yeah.
The Chinese one that I know of is the interphalangeal joint of the thumb to the first IP of the third finger.
Right.
And we put it underneath this collarbone area. I don't know what the collarbone area means underneath the collarbone, the soft spot.
And that's the one that we use for Mudra 1. And it's index finger up, third finger down, fourth and fifth up, and you place it anywhere in your body. And the literal translation for that is Shuna mudra, is emptiness. It's the mudra of getting back inside yourself in calmness.
Oh, I love it, man. No wonder I like that one. Emptiness, yeah.
So it helps get us grounded in that whole process. So it's touching the mid knuckle finger there at the same time. Okay.
Awesome.
And then it's just a really heightened sensitivity on a lot of, we're moving into spring and people want to be outside, and there's such a media blitz on making fear. Every time you turn around, it's always pretty chaotic. So
Yeah.
we have a series called the Blue-Eyed series, and there is radiation since we moved to LED lights and LED screens. There's more anxiety and stress with people staring into the computers. And I haven't done, we were on together for 3 days straight from 10 o'clock in the morning till 5 p.m. So I've never stared at my computer 7.5 hours a day.
Welcome to my room.
Yeah. But it was exhausting. It wiped me out.
Yeah.
A whole lot.
I've actually gone hardwired on my computers, and I can tell when Jen turns on the Wi-Fi, even though that's downstairs, I get loopy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we do our best, even though we're in a little city. We're not by a big city, but yeah, hardwiring our computers really helped. And Jen only uses a cell phone sporadically. I don't know how people are doing it with the cell phone sitting in their back pockets. It's like,
yeah, it's pretty chaotic that way. So So you put your hands over your eyes is the first contact, Ralph. And maybe you want and then the first we'll walk through it, and then I'll have you just write it down later on. But the first we can repeat it afterwards, but let's just do this together for a few minutes.
Okay, everybody just do this together. Yeah.
Yeah. So both hands over the eyes so that they feel warmth into both eye sockets. And then the first connection is to your stomach, which is right down in here. Yeah. Thank you. And we'll hold that one for a minute.
I was on the wrong spot. So here goes. Stomach is on the left side.
Yeah. And then that helps with digestion and a little bit of how you absorb your food. And now the next spot we'll do together is the throat. Okay, placing our hand on our throat. Just put them in my regular office, please. And throat's about speech and swallowing and communication. Now we can shake our hand out, that always keeping our hands on our eyes, right? And then the next spot we're going to go to is our spleen, which is on the left side of our body. And Ralph's doing the little teacup method, or otherwise you could switch hands and just wrap yourself around, and your hand sort of falls right under your armpit. And then after that, we're going to go to the opposite side and wrap around and hold our liver, which is on the right side of our body. And the liver is about detoxification, also holds a little anger and rage in it. Okay. And then we'll hold that for a few more seconds here. And then we'll go to the left side of the neck. And in there,
You want these?
come over, just put them over here. Or actually hand them to her. Okay. And then after the left side of the neck, we're going to go to the left back side of the head. So right behind our back of our head here. And we should feel like when we open our eyes, it's a little brighter or clearer from holding all these spots.
And in general, what's the minimum amount of time that somebody would hold each spot, you think?
Ideally 15 to 20 minutes, but 3 to 5 is something that can relax you, and that can be done on a little bit of a coffee break.
I actually feel relaxed even from that few seconds in between. There's a difference in the nervous system right now.
So if you want to write these into notes, both eyeballs to number 1 is the stomach, number 2 is the throat, number 3 is the spleen, number 4 is the liver, number 5 is the left side of the neck, and then the left back of the head. So you move it up so you're actually touching the back of your skull.
Awesome. So 15 or 20 minutes per spot would be like 15 minutes. That's like a little 2 hours, a 2-hour movie, or although you wouldn't be able to see the movie, but you could do it.
Well,
like
there's always the cheating method where you have one
eye.
with your fingers a little bit.
Yeah, I actually was doing some of that this weekend in class. During part of it, I was like keeping one eye a little bit open for part of the thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then, this is neurofascial process. We also call it one hand here, one hand there. I've literally done it for years, and Jen and I used to do it in our house in San Diego. We had some clients that would come and also friends, and it would be anywhere from 3 to 5 to 7 or 8 people. and we would, if you have a few friends, you could have, so 1, 2, 3, with 4 people, 3 or 4 people, you could get all the spots at once. And in 20 minutes, just do one person and then take a little break and do 20 minutes, do one person. If you got a family, if you have a couple of 2 or 3 people, you can do it together. And there's a real giant effect when you do it all in one big concentrated thing like that.
In the Body Wisdom book, which was written by my wife, there's 14 of these spots of the body, and then she goes and tells you what the purpose and the function are in an acupuncture way, in a biochemical way, in an emotional way, and a spiritual way. And in the back of the book, there's actually 40 different self-help techniques for back pain, knees and ankles. And we figured out if you got 7 people to help you do this, you'd be able to cover all the different relationships and connections. And 1 hour would equal 45 hours if you're trying to do it by yourself.
Yeah, and the way that works, just to show you the power of it, like if I was doing it to myself, I've got one hand and another hand, that's one connection, like say an hour of doing that. But if Tom and I were doing it together on me, I've got my 2 hands, he's got his 2 hands. So this hand connects to this one and this one and this one, that's 3 hours. And then this one connects to this one and this one and this one, 4 hours. It's, it goes up. So yeah, for one 20-minute segment, you get 45 20-minute segments to one 20-minute segment. And when you get up from that, your feet are on the ground different, you're looser, you're lighter. We saw people's relationships get better with their spouses, physical conditions healed. So it's a pretty cool way to watch a movie.
Right. So I feel that helps with emotions and everything else. And this, we have a series called the Blue Eyed series, and it really penetrates how our primitive brain sees the world. So by working on those tools, it really deactivates that whole process. If you're, they're saying you should at least do 20 to 30 minutes before you go to bed. Don't look at anything that's illuminated. Would be the best.
Yeah. You know what I feel like doing, Tom, if you want, is energetically hooking up all your neurofascial process centers for you, and just energetically giving you lots of love, because you did a lot this weekend, man. You were out there with a lot of people, and one of the things I noticed in that class was a lot of people going through a lot of pain, man, and you were sitting in there dealing with a lot of people with significant problems. Would that be okay if we do a little healing thing for you?
I appreciate that.
Okay,
thanks.
awesome, man. So everybody, help me out here. We're gonna say everything Tom wants. Let me put a hand on his Tom's top of his head, and also a little above the top of his head, the epic center. Hand on his forehead, mental and emotional body, a little bit off the body, a little on the body, passion body, personal body, right at the bridge of the nose. And we're going to go right into the concha and go in and down just a hair. We're going to go on the throat. We're going to go on the upper arms and the shoulders, the forearms, the back of the lungs. We're going to put a couple of people on that. The front of the lungs, a couple people on that. The front of the heart, the back of the heart. We're going to go on his adrenals, on his kidneys, on his liver, on his stomach, on his spleen, on his pancreas and pancreatic duct, on the ureters, the little tubes coming out of the kidneys. As my Qigong teacher Ming Tong says, kidneys, the cecum, the ileocecal valve, the sigmoid, the hips, the essential body for the hips, the thighs, the bottom of the feet, which has the plate therapy for the thalamus, perceptions. Going to go through all his meridians in his fingertips and his toes, the back of his sacrum, the PSISs, which are reflex points, and synchronizer 14 and 15. Let's see, what did I miss?
It was pretty good, Ralph. Thank you.
Good, you're welcome. Yeah, and then we're going to integrate all of that right now. and hook it up to that big cloud I see in the sky right now. All right. Yeah, because you do a lot for people, man. And you sit with people that have a lot of pain. That's there's something about that. So I just want to commend you for that. And I don't know how you do it sometimes, because everybody's got all these different belief systems about the way the world should be. So,
Oh, you noticed.
what's that?
Oh, you noticed.
Yeah, I noticed. It's like, yeah, it's like incredible. It's incredible, man. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else you feel would be useful today for you, for the world, for your dreams or hopes, or anything else?
Oh, well, the support you gave is going to be very well used. So,
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, because Tom's got big stuff and he's got ways to help people heal from the deep stuff. And I'm blessed to be able to call him up anytime I have anything going on and say, Tom, what's going on? Yeah, imtwellnesscenter.com. I think I'm going to give him a little break and cut out a little early just because he was through a lot this weekend, and I'm just grateful for you being on the planet and doing what you're doing. And yeah, everybody click like, click heart, click share, put a comment wherever you're watching, and just give Tom a lot of love. So thank you, Tom. Appreciate you a
thanks,
lot.
Bill.
You're welcome.
All right. We'll talk next week. Okay.
Next week. Okay, guys. We'll see you later. And yeah, if you want anything to do with what I'm up to, I've got Atomic Success Secrets Mastermind starting, and I'll put that in the link somewhere, but you can get to it ralphhavens.com/Atomic Success Secrets Mastermind. Got a really cool gift for you there. So join us, and all right, much love to all of you guys. I'll see you all next